Hello everyone and welcome. Wednesday 16th July 2025. Let's see what happened in the markets yesterday, because I'm a day delayed. So we're going to start off with the weekly. And what do we have weekly? We have that expansion happen. We have a SMT, right? What we noticed was, because YM had already taken earlier in the week, the weekly FVG, it had taken that previous week low, and now it's also taken another previous week low, whereas ES has taken previous week low for the first time. NQ has not, so this is a major SMT within an FVG. So we're looking for, again, a breaker structure. Same thing happened on Monday when YM had that SMT with the previous week low. So when we have the change in state of delivery, and then you can see an entry to go long. So let's go to the daily. And so in the daily, you can see a bit more clearly of the SMT happened here Monday to Wednesday. So the Wednesday taps into it. And in that day, we could see it's a bullish close. So it's above the previous day low as well, and above the weekly open. So I know from today's events that it is definitely going to be a bullish day. So whenever you see that, it's a strong correlation for these highs to be taken when you see that SMT within that FVG. So let's now drill into the 30 minutes. Now, what do we have in the 30 minutes? We had so we had PPI news at 8:30. So that tapped into this FVG for the first time, and then now that has a single tap on it. This was a partial because it's been tapped into multiple times, and the low of the day was created there, and then the high of the day was created at 8:30, and then we can see it breaking here. You could almost see a change in state of delivery. A lot of people would have got in maybe on a 15-minute or 5-minute breaker here, and then to take the lows. But where would you take the lows? Well, you can see on the side here, there's no FVGs to target. So it will be this low and this low that will be in danger. So that's why we see it set a massive move, because of the PPI. And it's quite rare we have 2 days very similar to each other where, the high gets taken and then instantly the other side of the data lows gets taken. We've got change in state of delivery and then it goes to the targets. So I'm sure it's been a good week for a lot of people. So because the 8:30 created the high of the day there, and it was into that second tap now we're looking at. So same thing with ES taps into that. We had this FVG, but we're not interested. We're only interested in the FVG after 9:30 and what it's doing with it. So that's what I'm looking at. That's the patterns I've seen. So let's see. So it taps into there, taps into there, and then we see a breaker structure, change in state of delivery in all three of them. And then you would potentially get entries maybe on a 5-minute or 15-minute breakers, depending on what you're looking at. What am I looking at? Well, so we'll go into the minute. In the minute, it took the data high, right? Took the data high after tapping that 30-minute FVG for the first time. Makes the high of the day. So it manipulates higher, creates this liquidity. 9:30 goes, taps into it, instantly closes below, and now it wants to expand to its target. So 9:30 goes and takes out the data low instantly, so my entry, I would be looking for either here, or some people I've seen do 15-minute breakers here, or this breaker here. You would maybe take an entry here once you see that closure, or they may wait for a 1-minute FVG to go even lower, right? But I'm not interested in any of that one. So NQ didn't give it, but I did see ES gives me that ideal what I'm looking for, and then I would take that to the data lows as the first entry. And now the second thing is we had also a 30-minute FVG created by 8:30, so now that one is in play for the longer expansion. So I would say, so once we get closure below, I want to get a 50% as a premium. Let me get the terminology right. So premium to go shorter, to go short. So that would be my entry there, which is the premium 50%, and then that aims for the data low. So ES was better for that one because the data lows had not been taken. Oh, sorry, data lows were taken, but the 7 to 9 liquidity, right? This red box is the 7 to 9 liquidity. So sometimes, a lot of times actually, you would see manipulation happen up here, and then it would target and close off the 7 a.m. lows. So you could take partials there and potentially got all the way down because there was no other 30-minute FVG. So you're going to aim for this low here. And then, yeah, there's a massive gap. So you would have potentially went all the way down if you were brave enough. But I think most people will be satisfied with this. So then what happened later in the day is you can see that ES, remember we had that SMT, ES goes and taps into that FVG, goes and taps into it, and NQ does not. So in this instance, you may want to take NQ. Well, you could look at NQ, ES, and YM for your ideal breaker change in state of delivery. So when it breaks out, you want to see that change in state of delivery to tap into your breaker, and whatever your breaker is. A lot of people draw it differently, but you may want to check all three charts for how you get in. So I found, well, there's a 30-minute FVG was created on YM as the cleanest. ES did not create it, and I've got these boxes to show you the 30 minutes. And here's a 30-minute. So there's no gaps there. There's no gaps for there's no gaps for NQ, but YM did have some gaps, and let's not forget it tapped into a previous week low as well. So I was looking at YM to say, okay, well, here's the breaker. ES has his own breaker, so you would have probably got your money's worth if you followed it. So ideally, you would take the NQ because it was the weakest. It did not take a previous week low, whereas ES and YM did. So then you would have, I guess, taken this as a breaker, and you could have taken your entry in this FVG to go for maybe a 1 to 2, or maybe go for the highs there, which it does eventually reach. So if you would have taken it at this FVG for 1 minute, I'm not sure what your risk reward would be, but if you're aiming back for the 930 highs, then you would get probably a 1 to 2 ratio there. You may want to aim for that. That's more of the longer term setup if you were waiting to do the PM session as well. So let me get rid of all of this. But for YM, for me, the confluence was the breaker, the 30-minute FVG, the single tap, the second tap, and then I would take that for a potential 1 to 2, because you don't know how far into the breaker it's going to go. Maybe you do, and that's great. If you want to share that with me, great. But yeah, that's it. That's for Wednesday, 16th July. We had, again, a reminder, the manipulation. So 8:30 manipulation into 30-minute FVG, taps above. And then we get a re-entry. Oh no, this is YM. Okay, sorry. Right here Yeah, right here, and that would be my entry to come down there, and then the second entry, and then the third one. I'm not saying I've taken any of these. I've taken this one, but I didn't take these two here because you can't spend all day on the computer looking at charts. But that was the analysis for the day, and we got lucky with CPI and PPI showing us pretty much the same thing in 2 days. I doubt it's going to happen again until a long time because markets always want to fool you. So those were 2 good days, right? Okay. All right. Thanks very much. See you for the next one.